Hello, this is Mr. Chabry, and today we're going to look at the Ultra Series analysis. So, of course, the Ultra Series is now the current VGC series, and of course, I didn't make a video on this when we first had the changeover, just because I wanted to have a little bit more time where the metagame would solidify and we would see specific Pokemon get more usage and higher up on, the stats. We'll get more of an idea of what Pokemon are actually being used in the Ultra series. So without further ado, this is that video. We're going to look at it, of course. As of right now, of me recording this, there actually hasn't been another competition announced. The next competition is actually a Japanese exclusive competition where the prize is a shiny Tapu Fini. So I was hoping we would get a competition like that here using Ultra Series rules. However, we actually haven't as of yet. So that's still something that hopefully we'll get our own little thing going with that. So now we're going to look at the top used Pokemon in the Ultra Series. There's actually a lot of interesting Pokemon that's risen and a lot of them that's fallen. The one that is still on top of the throne is actually Incineroar, 64% usage. Almost everyone in VGC is using Incineroar, and it's a really good Pokemon too, so it makes sense why there would be a lot of Incineroars. It's got a really cool typing, Fire, Dark. Intimidate is always good. It's got a good moveset too. I think this thing actually is better than Lando in terms of its moveset. But here you can see like the top most used moves is Fake Out, that will prevent the opponent from doing certain things. Flare Blitz is a really strong stab move. U-Turn for momentum. Snarl. I like using Snarl. That reduces the special attack on the opponent. Darkest Lariat is also really cool. It ignores stat boost. We got Roar too, which is actually kind of cool. But yeah, the ones down here are actually lower usage. So you probably won't see Roar or Throat Chop. You'll probably see these top four, even Darkest Lariat in place of Snarl. Here's the common teammates, and as you're going to see a lot of these Pokemon. Well, of course, Incineroar is going to have the top most used teammates be the actual top most used Pokemon because it's so often used that yeah, it's going to be paired with a lot of these Pokemon. Items wise, it still seems to be the Figgy Berry, but a lot of people are bringing the Insinium Z for the Malicious Moonsault, which is a really cool. I love that move. It's got a cool animation. We got the Assault Vest too. Honestly, prefer the Figgy Berry, however. So yeah, and everyone's using Intimidate except for these few people that probably didn't realize they went on without Intimidate. That's the only reason I could see someone bringing Blaze, because I don't think anyone would, on purpose, use a Blaze Incineroar in this. But yeah, Incineroar, top used Pokemon in VGC Ultra Series. It was the top used in Sun Series, Moon Series, and it's still here in Ultra Series. The next Pokemon is actually the top used Legendary. That's actually Groudon, Primal Groudon. This thing has 42% usage, and yeah, I think a lot of people are going to decide to run either this or Kyogre. And it looks like this one's actually winning out, and I think the main reason is because it's slower. The fact that it's slower means if you send this out and the opponent sends out Kyogre, this one will actually win the tug of war weather-wise, because it is slower than Kyogre. Of course, 100% red orb. It's not going to be primal without that red orb. So there's that. Sorry. Move-wise, Protect. That's a cool move. I love Protect in doubles. It's a really good move because if you can predict what your opponent's going to do, you can practically have a free turn if you hit that Protect. Precipice Blades, that's actually a really cool move. You don't have to worry about taking damage on your own side as if you're using Earthquake. You hit both opponents' Pokemon. Fire Punch, I think that looks like it's the most common used Fire Stab for Primal Groudon. It's a physical move, That's the thing about Primal Groudon. It doesn't really have that many good Fire Stab moves. Fire Punch, or physical ones at least. Eruption's a really good one, but it's physical or it's special, and it's got better attack. However, it does have decent special attack at 150, so special variants could be running around doing a lot of damage, but 180 attack is where it's at. Down here, of course, you know, a lot of people bringing Timid, which is actually pretty interesting. I'm wondering if the same people bringing Timid are, I mean, more than likely, that's what it looks like. People, some people are running Timid just for Eruption to be much more powerful, and they're just banking on the already immense attack stat for those stats right there. But yeah, there's a lot of Adamants too, and you see some Jollies. So yeah, Groudon's honestly a really good Pokemon too. I really like this one. Xerneas, of course, returns. This one's been really one of the most common legendaries throughout this series, and it's making a return here. Of course, everyone's running Geomancy, Moonblast, Protect, basically, and Dazzling Gleam. We've got barely anything using anything else, so if you see a Xerneas, you're almost 100% guaranteed that it's these 4 moves right here. Power Herb, almost 100%. It's the best move, or best item for the Xerneas, because that gives you that Geomancy turn 1 instead of waiting 2 turns for it to power up. I really think this is a Pokemon that's going to be much more used in this too. You know, with a Geomancy, it outruns a lot of things. It can take hits, and it can hit very hard. And there's not really much that wants to take a Moonblast from a Geomancy boosted Xerneas. Of course, Primal Groudon could be able to take it, but other than that, not much wants to take a hit from this thing. The next most used legendary is actually Primal Kyogre, and yeah, that's mainly for the rain. As you see here, the most common moves are going to be Protect, Ice Beam. That's probably for like ground type Pokemon, even dragon types. As you see here, there's going to be some dragon types we see. Water Spout, that has a boost in the rain, plus if you can hit before the opponent, you know, you're going to hit really hard. And then Origin Pulse is really cool. And even though I did say Groudon is slower, it's usually slower, because they actually have the same speed stat, so depending on how you run it, I guess speed doesn't even matter on the Groudon. So looking at this, yeah, of course, everyone's got Blue Orb. You can't do Primal without that Blue Orb. It looks like everyone actually is, or most people are using like very specific EV spreads with 204 HP, you know, 204, what is that defense right there, and then 44 special attack, 4 special defense, and 52 speed. So I don't know what that is calced to take care of, but it seems like a lot of people are using Kyogre for a very specific reason, and right there is what they came up with as like a calc to take care of whatever it's here to take care of. The most used Mega is actually Salamence, and Salamence is a good Mega. I really like this Pokemon too. Just like, you know, Groudon and Kyogre, which we didn't even look at Kyogre's attack stat because it doesn't have like a move pool that really takes advantage of that. Salamence here has the same thing. It's got good special attack. It's also got good attack. Most people are going to be using it for the attack stat, not the special attack. But I can see the special attack being used a lot, mainly for Hyper Voice, which is right here. We got Aerialate as the ability. That means you're going to be using Double Edge and Hyper Voice as a flying type move. And with that stab, you're going to get a little bit extra bonus damage. The cool thing about Hyper Voice is it bypasses Substitute. I don't think there's going to be a lot of substitutes in this, but Hyper Voice will bypass that. Double Edge does a lot of damage. Tailwind is actually the most used move, and that's actually cool. You can boost the speed for your entire team. Over here, we look at other common moves. The main 4 is going to be Tailwind, Double Edge, Hyper Voice, Protect, but a lot of people are also bringing Draco for that nuke. Not as much as, you know, these. When you see a Salamence, it's probably going to be these moves right here. However, keep in mind there might be a Draco dropped upon you. And this thing actually has really good speed too, 120. That's actually the fastest thing we've looked at so far. Xerneas does outspeed it after Geomancy, but that's after Geomancy. Honestly, though, I think a Xerneas should be able to take a hit from a Mega Salamence most of the time. But yeah, this is honestly a really good Pokemon too. I really like it, and plus you have the Aerolate, but once you come in first, you could use that Intimidate, because I'm pretty sure it's Intimidate is its most common ability. The next Mega is actually also a Legendary, and that's going to be Mega Rayquaza. So this thing is just over the top powerful. I'm actually surprised it's this low, because it's just so over the top how powerful it is. Once you send it out as normal Rayquaza, you can actually bypass the weather from Primal and Groudon and Kyogre. And that's actually a really cool strategy I've seen a lot of people doing. They'll bring a water type move on the Rayquaza, bring it in. The other person will have their Primal Groudon out thinking, oh, they're not going to be able to hit me with a water move. Boom, Rayquaza can still do it because of its ability, you know, its ability Airlock, which bypasses weather. But with Mega Rayquaza, its ability is actually going to be Delta Stream. So Delta Stream is a weather that actually reduces damage onto flying types, super effective damage onto flying types. So a rock type move on a flying type, it's not going to be doing that much damage, which is actually really cool because, you know, a lot of people use Rock Slide in this. So yeah, I think Mega Rayquaza is actually really cool. 100% Dragon Ascent. Of course, you have to have Dragon Ascent to even use Mega Rayquaza. It's like, instead of a Mega Stone, it's locked by a moveset. But yeah, everyone's going to be having Dragon Ascent on this thing, so keep that in mind. Extreme Speed seems to be very popular too. Protect Swords Dance, which is actually really crazy. Of course, you can see this attack stat right here, 180 special attack. They're both over the top crazy. Now with the Swords Dance, that's going to be immense. That's like 2 times, you know, the attack stat. That's going to be like up in the 300s if you like do it based off this number right here. So yeah, this thing does not mess around. You also have Waterfall. That's probably for Primal Groudons. You got Earth Power. That's actually pretty cool, taking advantage of the special attack. And then Earthquake is pretty cool. It hits everything except the flying types. We got some other moves too. Of course, these aren't as common, but keep in mind that this thing actually has a really cool move pool too. It's got Overheat, Crunch, Draco Meteor. Most people bringing a Sash, Life Orb, or even a Ban. And that's the cool thing about Mega Rayquaza. It's the only Mega that can actually hold an item that's not a Mega Stone. So a lot of people are going to be bringing a Sash so they can at least nuke something twice, or, you know, surprise the opponent that sends an attack onto the Rayquaza first, and then it's like, oh, I was expecting it to be down, but it's got that Sash. The Life Orb just boosts that attack power. Assault Vest is pretty cool too. Rosalie, that reduces the damage from fairy types, which is a good idea because there's Xerneas right there. So yeah, this thing is honestly a really good Pokemon too. I'm actually surprised it's not higher up just because how powerful the thing is. And now we reach a Tapu, and this is actually interesting mainly because if you remember the Sun and Moon series, in those, Lele and Coco were the top used Tapus. Now it is time for the Tapu Fini. Honestly, I don't know why people are switching to Tapu Fini. Maybe there's like a specific thing that's happening in the meta. It looks like the EV spread's specific for something because you've got like 244 HP and then special defense and speed. So it's got something that it's on teams to handle. It's probably mainly going to be used for that misty terrain. It'll prevent, you know, things being put to sleep, which Amoonguss likes to do. Things toxiting things. It's not as common here in VGC, but there might be times where someone tries to do that. Even like Scald Burns, it'll prevent that. It looks like most people are actually using Icy Wind. What that does is reduces the speed of your opponent. Nature's Madness, that halves your opponent's HP. Heal Pulse, that actually heals up your Pokemon, which is actually kind of cool. I guess they're mostly using this to heal up some of these Mons that's on the team. We got Haze, so I'm pretty sure what that Haze is there for is for the Xerneas that's running around. Of course, the scary thing is if you've got this thing out there, that Misty Surge is boosting fairy moves. And that's what Xerneas has got 100%. So yeah, you're going to have to be careful with that. Light Screen, that's actually cool. That helps you with that Xerneas too, the Kyogre, most of the Salamances that have the Hyper Voice. It'll help you with all those. So yeah, this is actually very interesting. I do think this is actually an interesting Pokemon to start rising up into the Ultra Series. Next up is going to be this Amoonguss right here. Amoonguss has been pretty commonly used throughout these series, mainly because Xerneas is running around, and with the Spore, you can put it to sleep. Clear Smog, you reduce the crazy stat boost it gets from Geomancy. Rage Powder, you direct everything towards you that, you know, isn't a grass type or has the safety goggles. And then Grass Knot is really good for Kyogre, so that's what I mainly used it for. And that looks like what most people are actually doing with it too. Look at these spreads. Mainly for special defense, which makes sense if people are using it to counteract Zern and Kyogre. So yeah, this is a cool Pokemon, and I'm glad to see it still here. Tapu Koko is next. Can't go wrong with Tapu Koko. It's a fast Pokemon. It's electric type fairy. Dazzling Gleam, Volt Switch for momentum. Thunderbolt does good, and it gets a boost in the electric terrain. It's a very fast Pokemon too. A lot of people using Z moves, mostly electric Z moves, which makes sense because of course you have the electric terrain helping you out there, so you can nuke something. Tapu Lele is the next most used Pokemon. Here we have the Lele and the Koko, but Feeny has actually passed them up. We got Psychic, Psyshock, Dazzling Gleam, and Moonblast, so more offensive. We also have Magic Room, which... what does Magic Room do? I think that makes it where items don't take effect. I'd have to actually look to make sure, but if that is true, that's actually cool. That's a cool set right there, Magic Room. Most people using it with a Scarf or a Sash. Mostly the Scarf, because it's got pretty good speed, and with that Psychic terrain, you don't have to worry about priority. Lando, the former king of VGC, is also here. Not as high as it was back in the previous generations, but it's still here. We got Earthquake, Protect, Rock Slide, of course, and U-Turn, the most common moves on it. Rock Tomb is also popular to slow things down. Earth Power if you need special attack. Hidden Power Ice is probably for other Landos or, you know, all these flying dragon types running around. And Swords Dance. But yeah, this is actually pretty cool too. Most people bringing Groundium Z on it. Next up is actually going to be Gengar, Mega Gengar. This is honestly a good Pokemon too. So yeah, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, Taunt. A lot of people bring Taunts because it's so fast. Outspeeds a lot of things. You can get Taunt things that are trying to set up Trick Room or even try to Spore you like a Moongus would be trying to. Substitute, that's actually really cool. Of course, Substitute, you have to worry about, you know, this Salamence up here with Hyper Voice, but Substitute's really cool. You can get behind the sub and do some shenanigans. And we got a few more I would look at before we go. Lunala is back. It's not as high as it was in the Moon series, but it's still here. Moongeist, Beam, Psyshock, Tailwind, Protect. Wide Guard's getting some use too, which is pretty cool. And the last one we'll actually look at is going to be Yveltal. It's another legendary that a lot of people are excited to use in this. I think the most common reason people are using it is for the Sucker Punch. Of course, Foul Play has got slightly more usage, but I know a lot of people saying they're using it for Sucker Punch. Snarl, of course, is a good move too. Protect. In Oblivion Wing, you can heal yourself up. Tailwind for, you know, helping out your speed stat. Foul Play, say someone's trying to set up on you, Foul Play is going to punish them for that. So yeah, that's some of the usage statistics for Ultra Series. Of course, they haven't yet, of the recording of this video, announced competition. They could, you know, right before I post this, announce it, and that would kind of, honestly, that would be cool. It'd be like I'm ahead of the curve. But you know, it's a good idea to actually start looking at some of these mons. This is going to be like the longest stretch of the series here, and this is going to be the series that gets played through 2 worlds. So if you like this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I will see you in the next Pokemon video.